If I had a shilling for every time a man thought a safari was the perfect setting for a marriage proposal, I'd probably still be broke. But I'd at least own a pair of binoculars. Today's story is about Adam, an ambitious, romantic guy who thought wild animals, starry skies, and dusty game drives were the perfect backdrop to get a woman to say yes. Unfortunately, the woman in question, Zara, had just gone through a breakup so bad, the police had to intervene. Yep, not exactly the emotional state you'd hope for when popping the big question. Welcome to Soul Safari, a tale of love, delusion, trauma, and one persistent Bulbul bird who just might be the real MVP of this entire story. So here's how it all unfolds. Adam and Zara are former high school sweethearts. Or, well, he thought they were sweethearts. She might have thought they were lab partners. But semantics aside, Adam has been nursing a deep affection for Zara for a long, long time. And after years apart, when Zara's boyfriend turns out to be such a disaster that the police have to drag him, literally, out of her apartment, Adam sees his chance. He plans an elaborate safari in the Kenyan wilderness, because nothing says I'm the one like giraffes, lions, and mildly overpriced lodge food. Zara, still emotionally battered from the mess that was her last relationship, agrees to go. Maybe she thought a change of scenery would help. Maybe she just really likes zebras. But Adam? He's on a mission. He's carefully planned this romantic getaway, clearly ignoring the minor detail that Zara's still traumatized and perhaps not in the best place to be swept off her feet. And right from the start, the cracks show. At first, everything seems manageable. The scenery is breathtaking, the wild is wilding, and Adam is in high spirits. But then he does the thing. He confesses his love. He tells Zara plainly, honestly, that he's in love with her. And Zara? She tells him the 3 words no man ever wants to hear. You're like family. More specifically, she says she loves him like a brother. Ouch. That was the moment the safari turned into a psychological thriller. From that point on, the trip goes downhill, fast. Adam, poor guy, starts unraveling. He's seething with jealousy anytime someone dares talk to Zara. He starts acting like a character from one of those nature documentaries, tense, territorial, and ready to snap. You can almost hear David Attenborough narrating, and here we see the male, threatened by rival attention, growing increasingly agitated. He even begins dreaming of Zara being chased by lions, with him playing the heroic rescuer. I mean, sure, he's a romantic, but now we're bordering on full-blown obsession. That's the kind of love that burns out safari jeeps. But Zara? She's not just recovering from a breakup. She's also focused on her career. She's studying film in London. Her parents moved there 5 years ago. She's got dreams, goals, and possibly a script about a creepy safari lover forming in the back of her mind. The trip progresses with a series of petty squabbles. It's like a honeymoon where nobody got married and both parties would rather be anywhere else. Tensions rise. And then, during one of their many quiet, strained moments, something interesting happens. A bulbul bird lands on their car's side mirror. Zara, curious and philosophical, says, "I wonder whether it knew it was looking at itself." Adam, in what might be the only joke he gets right on the trip, responds, "Maybe it thought it had found a girlfriend." Now, we might shrug this off as harmless banter, but in the context of their strained relationship, it's a tiny spark, a flicker, something lighter amidst the tension. Later on, after yet another fight, and after Zara casually drops that she thinks she's in love with someone else, we assume, Adam smiles, for the first time since she rejected his love. And just like that, another bulbul lands nearby. Maybe it's the same one, maybe it's symbolic, or maybe it's just a bird tired of flying around all these messy humans. And that's how this little safari of love ends. Not with a dramatic proposal, not with a teary acceptance, but with a smile, a bulbul, and a faint shimmer of hope. Because even though Zara isn't ready, and even though Adam is clearly devastated, they don't leave as enemies. There's no fiery breakup, no shattering of friendship, just a quiet, ambiguous ending that suggests maybe someday. Maybe with time, maybe when the wounds have healed and Zara's degree is complete and Adam's done playing Tarzan. The story I just told you? It's called Soul Safari by Alnoor Amlani, published in the 2010 Kane Prize for African Writing Anthology. Now let's talk. This story walks a delicate line between love story and quiet tragedy. It's not your typical romantic tale where the guy wins the girl with a grand gesture. Instead, it's about mismatched timing, emotional baggage, and the dangers of assuming someone else is in the same headspace just because you are. Adam, for all his planning and longing, fails to see Zara for who she is right now, a woman healing, ambitious, and not ready to be anyone's wife. He's fixated on an ideal version of her that exists mostly in his own mind. That's not love, that's projection. Zara, on the other hand, is trying her best. She doesn't lead Adam on. She's clear about her feelings, she's polite, even kind, but firm. And for that, I respect her immensely. Now, do I think there's hope for them in the future? Maybe. That ending, the smile, the second Bulbul, suggests a softening, a shift, perhaps even a friendship rekindled. But one thing is certain, they're no longer chasing illusions. And that's what makes Soul Safari stand out. It's a love story, but not the mushy hearts and flowers kind. It's about emotional honesty, about navigating rejection with grace, about acknowledging pain without bitterness. It also explores deeper themes, obsession versus genuine affection, the impact of trauma on love, patience, timing, and letting go, and the ever-present question, can two people ever truly be in sync? Alnoor Amlani doesn't give us a fairy tale. He gives us real people, in a real moment, with real emotions. And somehow, through a failed proposal and the awkward silence of an African safari, he gives us hope. Alnoor Amlani is a third-generation Kenyan of Indian descent. He lives in Nairobi and has worked across East Africa as a management consultant. He's also been writing opinion pieces and articles for over a decade. Soul Safari marked his foray into fiction. He began writing creatively in 2009, and as of this story's publication, he was working on his first novel. It's always refreshing to read African writers with such sharp emotional intelligence and nuanced storytelling. Amlani takes a simple premise, a failed proposal, and layers it with cultural detail, emotional realism, and just the right dash of poetic symbolism. Honestly, I'll never look at a Bulbul the same way again. So if you're looking for a story that's not about winning the girl, but about understanding the pain of not winning her, this one's for you. Soul Safari is thoughtful, subtle, and at times painfully relatable. And hey, next time you plan a proposal, maybe skip the safari, or at least check in on her emotional state before you book the lodge. If you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment with your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button for more African literature and honest storytelling. Until next time, watch out for those Bulbuls. They know everything. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.